party people! Welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, where the gaming table is always set for two. I am your host, as always, Jeff Stormer. This week I am joined by freelance podcast editor and one of the hosts of the Watch podcast, Madison Ray, for a game of Star Wars, Force and Destiny by Fantasy Flight Games. As the name implies, Force and Destiny, the third installment in Fantasy Flight's Star Wars trilogy, covers the moral journey of Force-sensitive individuals as they rise through the ranks and become Jedi, or succumb to the dark side. It's a super cool game, and I can't wait for you to hear it. So without any further ado, let's throw it over to Past Me, who was waiting a long time ago in podcast space far, far away. Take it, distant Past Me.
Thanks, future me. This week my guest is Madison Ray. Madison, thank you for coming on Party of One.
Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I feel like nobody ever asks me.
It's very important. You know, you talk to all these people all the time, and maybe they want to know how you're doing.
I feel that way. So, up top, why don't you talk about anything you might want the audience at home to know about, anything you're working on, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, hey, audience. My name is Madison Ray. You might know me on the internet as Maddie K. Ray. That's my hashtag brand. I am a freelance. I'm trying to make my name as a freelance podcast editor, and I'm working on some podcasty things myself. I do a fan cast of the One Shot Podcast Network's first watch called Watch. We watch the watch. And I am working on currently producing a Mass Effect podcast. So if that's something you're interested in, shoot me a tweet. Let me know. I'd really appreciate it.
I don't have to shoot you a tweet because I have you on my show, and I can say that I'm very excited about both of those.
The name is still, we're still cooking on a lot of stuff, but I have the basic format down, and I've got about 20 guests already lined up because people just have a lot of feelings about Mass Effect, which is why I'm making a show about it.
Good. I feel like that's the right reason to make a show about it, and that's better that than the opposite, right? So this week we are playing Star Wars, Fantasy Flight Star Wars, Force and Destiny. I'm very excited about it. I enjoy a good Star War. So why don't you introduce your character this week?
So this week I am playing a Force-sensitive Chiss by the name of RAZIA Eleanor, and she goes by Razia as the Chiss nomenclature is. She is a Sentinel. She specializes in she's got the shadow specialization, so she's just, your average rogue inquisitor who maybe did a lot of bad things, but, maybe really wants to do some good.
Nothing says Star Wars quite like a good redemption story, so I'm really excited.
Correct.
So, we open shortly after the Battle of Yavin on a rebel-aligned, transport vessel. Yavin has been compromised, but they haven't yet settled on Hoth. They're sort of, the Alliance is on the move. Mm-hmm. Razia has been summoned by Jandadana. A mission of utmost importance and utmost secrecy.
Alright.
So we open on this big sweeping shot of this, crowded, very Star Wars 70s crowded, transport vessel shot. The people at the view screens are all, watching the dots go by. Mm-hmm. Describe to me, the opening shot when we first see Razia.
So, you see a comms officer handing off a data pad to one of the people at the screens who kind of checks stuff off and then hand it back. And instead of the communications officer, you see a blue hand reach out and kind of intercept that data pad. And as she is walking towards Dodonna, she checks something and then hands it off again. And you pan up to a pair of blazing red eyes and a rather intimidating countenance.
Everybody in the room is is immediately on guard.
Chiss are scary, you guys. Nobody trusts them.
Except for Dodonna. Dodonna is... You actually see him relax a little bit when you enter the room. He's sort of... His that sort of very admiral, very haggard, that very, like, constantly having a long day look sort of softens when he sees you, and he kind of lets out a smile, and he's like, Razia, how are you? How are you holding up?
No better or worse than yesterday, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, you know, we need to celebrate now because at least the Death Star is gone. We have a moment. Well, let's take a moment to breathe now before we get into the business stuff. And he actually grabs I don't know what the equivalent of wine is in Star Wars. Whatever Star Wars wine
let's
is.
call it a glowing, like, maybe like a neon pink liquid.
Yeah, perfect. He grabs, like, a couple of those and he hands one to you and he's like, to putting Alderaan at peace.
She clinks her space glass and you see her eyes sort of soften a bit, and the rigid sort of professionalism briefly melts away into maybe not peace, but definitely a moment of contentedness.
So he drinks back his pink liquid with a slight sense of reservation, and he stops and he says, that's actually why I called you in specifically. The Rebel Alliance has a job that we need your particular set of skills to enact. And I think that you might have a better understanding of our... Target's the wrong word, but it's the best word that I can come up with. You might have a better understanding of the target...
Mark?
The person of interest than... The mark. Yes, thank you. The mark than most. Tell me, does the name Lyson Tome mean anything to you? You can make me a core worlds or education or something to that effect.
I've got to rank in core worlds, so I'm going to do that. What's the difficulty?
Perfect. We'll call it average.
All right. I got 4 successes and a threat.
Great. So, you know, the name immediately jumps out to you. Lyson Tome was a Duros engineer that was living on Alderaan. He was a big sort of university head on Alderaan. Was responsible for a lot of sort of low-end sort of computer innovations, a lot of like the little things like microchips and stuff like that he kind of designed.
Okay.
He was brought onto Alderaan shortly after he came into Alderaan shortly after the Clone Wars. There's some talk that perhaps he was allied with the Trade Federation or the Separatists during the war, but he defected.
Mm-hmm.
He came over and he was building these things, sort of helping research on Alderaan. But so the name rings a bell.
More than a bell, I'd say.
Yeah. And Dodonna stops for a moment and he tries to find the right words. He says, Lyson was loyal to the cause. He was perhaps not, he was never outwardly working with the Rebel Alliance, but he was spreading the good word. But then Alderaan happened. And he has gone underground. The last few communiques that we got said some things to the effect of, and he pulls them up, and he just reads, "If they're building that, then we must do the same."
Do you think he was connected to the Death Star?
I don't know if he was connected to the Death Star, but I don't doubt that he had an intellect that could build things that perhaps couldn't blow up a planet, but could certainly do a lot of harm. And I think he was angry to a point where I think he could build something that would enact that on people. And I don't know that he has the best image of where the Empire starts and the people that we're trying to save stops, or vice versa.
So you need someone to find him and assess the threat he may pose to the rebellion.
Yes.
She nods.
His last known whereabouts were a rebel transport ship that he was on was detected near the planet Lok in the Outer Rim. We can take you to the general we can take you to the system and sort of put you overhead. It's not a pleasant planet, but it's also not particularly populated. Somebody with your skill set should be able to sense him fairly well.
Sounds good. When do you want me to ship out?
And at that moment, the stars turn into lines, and the ship goes into hyperspace, and he says, we're already shipping out. And we get the Star Wars hyperspace thing where the ship flies off from frame, and we cut to Lok. Lok is a brown and green and yellow dirt planet. It is in the Outer Rim. Clouds of sulfurous gas are spiraling, and they're hovering overhead. They're preparing a landing ship for you. And Dodonna is in the docking bay with you. And asks, do you have any questions before we send you down? We're going to be staying up here cloaked. We don't want to give him the sense that we are hunting him, because I think that might give the wrong idea.
Real quick, she doesn't. So I have her equipped with a vibro knife because she's very like. Do I need to give her a blaster or something?
Yeah, we'll give you. We'll give you a blast. Like they hand you a blaster and like say like you might not need it. But
my only concern was whether or not she was equipped. No, I think she's good. I think we're ready to ship out.
Okay. Dodonna offers a firm handshake and says, "May the Force be with you."
And also with you.
And the landing ship takes off. As you get into the atmosphere, and these yellow sulfur clouds are surrounding you, and the smell, that rotten egg smell of sulfur, immediately hits you even through the airlocked ship. It's thick. It is a thick scent. And then the alarm starts on the landing vessel.
Oh, goodness.
There is a projectiles are coming, and pretty immediately something hits the ship, and you go down. The ship lands in a dusty, deserty field. A few leafless plants are around you, sort of like tumbleweeds and shrubs. And the ship is badly damaged, but you are alright.
Okay. Oh, real quick, I just rolled my Force and Destiny because I forgot to do that at the beginning of the session, and I got 1 dark side point.
I will do that right now. 2 dark side.
Cool. 3 dark side. Great.
Good. So, in fact, I'm going to flip one of those to say that, to explain the fact that the ship was hit by a weapon before you had a chance, or before you or the landing crew had a chance to react.
Cool.
That makes sense. That feels like a good dark side flip.
Yes, it does.
Cool. So the ship is damaged. You're on the ground. Make me a vigilance or perception check. We'll say difficulty for this is 3 purple.
Okay.
Hard.
Would you say that her vision would be impaired by the gas?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So Chiss actually have an ability that allow us to... Oh, dang, you didn't give me a setback, so never mind. Ugh, I can't use that to upgrade anything.
Oh, I'll give you the setback for that, because definitely, in fact, take 2 setbacks, 1 for that, and 1 for reasons that will be revealed.
Alright, well, the Chiss species ability allows me to remove up to 1 black setback die added to checks by visual and lighting conditions. So,
perfect.
Cool.
That setback goes away, so you have 1 setback, 2 purple, or 3 purple.
I have a failure and 3 advantages.
Okay. So what do you want the advantages to be? The failure is you land, you don't see where the projectile came from, but like that something shot you out of the sky, but you can't say what it is. So what are your advantages?
So my advantage is that as we shot through the clouds, there was a moment of clarity that I was able to orient myself on the planet. So I don't know, like I'm not unaware of where I crashed.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, perfect. Cool. So you know roughly where you are, and I will tell you, you are near a monument on Lok that you've heard about here and there, sort of as a historical, like, curiosity, almost. Mm-hmm. The Great Maze of Lok, also known as the Labyrinth. It is a giant square maze that no one quite knows where it came from. It's just this. It's a perfect square, and it's a maze, like a labyrinth of tunnels. There's a few different entrances, but you're a few parsecs. You're a few miles from that. A few clicks.
All right. Do I have communication with anyone?
Yeah. You have your comlink communication with the vessel up above.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm gonna radio in.
All right.
So Razia picks up or attaches it to her ear and says, "General, we've been hit. There seems to be someone who didn't want us to make it to the ground."
And that doesn't make sense. Those transport vessels weren't equipped with like that kind of weaponry. They weren't. He shouldn't have that.
Well, maybe someone found him who does.
Yeah, that's the best case. We can try to ready another landing vessel for you. It'll take a few hours to fuel, so stay safe, I guess. And we'll ready the landing vessel. We'll have the same drop point. Just do me a favor and don't get hurt.
Don't I always, she says, and terminates the link.
We get a brief shot of him like chuckling under his breath, a little smile forms.
So she is
going
to probably she doesn't want to be a sitting duck.
Sure.
So I think she has a rebreather, so she's going to put that on and probably gather her gear and head out, get away from the ship because she doesn't want to be a sitting duck at the bottom of a column of smoke.
Sure. Okay, so why don't you make me, in that case, a stealth check? This is going to be opposed. This is 2 purple and a red. Take an advantage for... take 2 advantages, 2 blue dice, 1 for like staying low and 1 for the cloud cover.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And my force talent is that I can add another blue boost to all stealth checks unless the opposition is immune to force powers.
They are certainly not.
Rolling. It's a wash, 3 advantages.
Okay. What do you want your advantages?
I'd probably... Let's say that I was able to find some adequate cover, like it's more defensible, but it's up to you whether or not they see me.
Okay, yeah. So you're undercover. You make it more or less towards the maze. Intel suggests that if someone has taken up residence, it's probably in there.
All right.
So you make your way over there. No one has visibly moved in on you.
But it doesn't mean they haven't moved in on me. Cool. So yeah. I'm gonna just keep heading straight for the maze then.
All right. So you come on one of these doorways, and the walls of the maze are about 20 feet high. They're big. They're big. there's these doorways are about maybe 10 feet wide, like just open sections of wall.
Right.
You walk through, and it's a series of like perfectly spaced 10-foot corridors and 20-foot walls. You can see the sky, but there are some sections where like it's been ceilinged off.
Okay.
So some sections are open air, some sections are not. You make me so you start to move through. Make me a perception.
Alright.
Actually, you just hear this. You hear metallic footsteps coming from, we'll say, the tunnel. Like, you walk in, and there's an immediate T-bone, so it goes left and right. To the right, like, you hear, coming around a bend, metallic footsteps. About 3 beings worth.
Cool, so I'm going to... is there anything I can check here? Yeah, I'm just gonna flatten myself against the wall and see if I can escape their notice.
Alright.
So that would be stealth?
Yes.
And what's the difficulty on that?
It is going to be just 1 purple. It is opposed by 1 purple.
I got a failure and 5 advantages.
Okay. So the advantage is as they're walking, you can... Something rings familiar about these footsteps. So you know what's coming, and then they're going to turn the corner and see you. So you can ready whatever action you want.
Right.
You recognize these like clanking footsteps.
Is it limited armor?
No, it's like you hear like the steps are accompanied by like whirring of joints.
Oh, great, droids.
And like marching, like they're walking with a particular formation. But, like, the metal is creaking and rusting and, like, grinding against itself.
Okay, so I am going to take this action now to aim. Ready my blaster and aim.
Great. So, 3 rusted, beat-up-looking recommissioned battle droids turn the corner, see you, and are like... And go ahead and take that shot.
What's the difficulty on that?
1 purple.
1 purple. Oh,
I'm sorry. No, it is, I think, 2 purple.
Okay. So I took a blue to aim, and... failure and 3 advantages. Why am I rolling like this?
It's been a difficult day. You're off balance. Their ship went down. It's been a rough day. So you open fire, and they enter into like battle mode. So they start, they sort of take cover around the corner and sort of ready, like, it goes into full firefight mode. So go ahead and roll me, I guess this will be cool. And then we'll dive in.
I'm so good at cool. What's the difficulty?
There.
Or is there...
just a flat cool roll for initiative, right. Yeah.
That is a success and 3 advantages.
Alright, they got a success. No, they got 1 advantage. So take your action. They are sort of like crouched around the corner, peeking out just to sort of take aim.
Right. So I'm going to aim again and shoot again.
Alright.
2 difficulty on that as well?
Yeah.
A failure and 2 advantages.
So, what do you want the advantage to be?
The advantage for me will be I'll probably wait and give that time, the time that I used to wait. Could I, like, skip my turn and let them go twice, but, like, then have double the blues on my next aim? Like, I wait for them to, like, feel their pattern and vibe and stuff. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. So they are rolling... They got 1 success, so take 9 wound minus your strain as a blast from blaster rifle fire. So they like shoot over your head and rocks tumble and you've got to like roll out of the way.
Okay, so am I taking strain or am I taking wounds?
Take wound.
All right.
And then minus your soak.
My soak
and
is...
an armor at whatever defense you have.
All right, so I'm taking 8 damage because I'm not that armored, guys.
All right. So they've opened fire and they say like,
cease and desist.
As they ready another shot.
So I'm gonna yell. Who do you report to?
We're part of Admiral Tom.
Wait, that's the Duros, right? Okay, I didn't write down his name. She's gonna put her hands up, I guess.
Okay.
And say, are they rolling again?
Oh, no. The second you put your hands up, they just, like, hold.
And she walks around the corner, has her blaster dangling by her pinky, doesn't drop it, but is, like, not holding it. And she says, I'm here to see Admiral Tome. I come in peace. I thought you were an enemy. I apologize.
Mission accomplished. Enemy target obtained.
So they start like saluting one another and like marching you, and one of them stops and looks over its shoulder and says,
Who did you bring with you?
I came alone.
False life form detected. Who did you bring with you?
as it's like looking over its shoulder back towards the entrance where you came in.
Great. Someone must have followed me.
And they take their blasters. Two of them take their blasters and go out, and they say like,
"Report to Admiral Tome immediately. We must dispatch threat."
And as you start to walk with the third one, you hear 2 blaster shots and 2 robot bodies hit the floor.
Oh no! So she's gonna start running.
Okay. The other battle droid starts to take aim at you, but then turns around, blaster shot, goes down.
Yep. Gonna try and outrun this guy.
Alright. Make me an athletics roll.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty is 1 purple, or is athletics based on agility? No, it's bronze.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so one purple.
Athletics is bronze.
Yeah, 1 purple.
2 successes and 2 advantages.
There you go. Now you got it.
I'm not good with blasters, guys.
The advantage, I will say, is you get a look at the person chasing you. They are... he is an old man. You see him running with a little bit of a limp. He's got a heavy blaster in his hand. He is wearing an Imperial jacket, but it's opened, revealing like a tank top underneath.
So like off-duty Imperial, maybe?
Yeah, like that. And he's got the bucket hat, but it's pulled real low. It's kind of hiding his eyes. He's got like a big black mustache. It's all kind of hiding his very severe features. He looks very old and very tired, and he's like chasing you down. But he can't keep up with
buddy,
you.
I almost feel bad for him. So I think Razia is gonna. I think she thinks she clearly has the advantage here. I mean, she has 4 brawn, so I'd say that she has an advantage here. But she's going to stop and point her blaster at him and say, "Who are you and why are you following me?"
He points a blaster right back at you. "I've come a long way for you."
"Where'd you come from?"
"Oh, here, there. Job goes where the job goes. Just..."
"What are your orders?"
"My orders? I find you, kill you. The usual."
"Who did you report these orders from?"
"Inquisitor Rugen Cole. Frankly, I'd rather get them from a morph, but You know how it is. Just make it easy on me and put the gun down.
Why should I do that?
Because I don't want to have to kill you.
She's gonna aim and shoot.
Alright. So that's gonna be 2... no, it's because it's close range, so it's just 1 difficulty. Yeah.
2 successes.
Alright.
6 damage.
6 damage.
But I think, doesn't double successes up the damage. Yeah.
Yes. So it's 6 per success. Okay. So that's 12? Yeah. You shoot and you catch him right in the side, and he sort of staggers back. He staggers back, and he sits down, and he just starts breathing heavily. And he puts the gun down, and he just looks up at you, and he's like, Just do me the favor and finish it. This is always how it was gonna end. I suppose I knew that.
So, she's gonna walk over to him and use the butt of her blaster to knock him out.
Okay.
And probably also give him a stim, because she doesn't want him to bleed out. She just doesn't want to deal with him.
Sure.
And she feels bad for this, old clone who's forced to track her down.
Yeah. He's an old clone Jedi hunter. He's tired.
Poor buddy. She feels real bad.
So, as you do that, you realize, you get a close look at him, you realize you've actually seen, or at least you've seen him in meetings before, back when you were an Inquisitor yourself, and he is, like I said, he was a Jedi. He was in charge of tracking leads of Force sensitive people that the Empire did not think were useful, or that the Empire considered a liability.
Right.
So the Inquisitors were tracking in people to turn into hands of the Emperor. He was tracking down Force sensitive people that they just wanted cleaned up.
Cool. Well, yeah, she doesn't want to kill him. She wants to make his job easy, but also she doesn't want to make his job easy. She wants to make his life easy and maybe let him go and maybe give him a reason to doubt his employers.
Sure.
So after she takes care of that, she's going to walk back towards where the droids were taking her.
Yeah, you follow these tunnels, and it's a maze, so it's initially completely overwhelming. You know, you take a turn, there's a dead end, you take another turn, there's another dead end. But, you close your eyes, and you can sort of feel a presence. You can feel a life force a ways down. And so you sort of follow that. And it kind of clicks with you that might be part of why Dodonna really wanted you here, was that we would have an easier time navigating this maze.
Right.
You make your way, you come to a section sort of in what you surmise to be the northeast corner of this maze.
Okay.
And there is what appears to be a scrap heap, jury-rigged version of a droid factory. Ship parts, parts of engines are compressing things into chest pieces. And old bits of old jet or old engines are serving as welding tools. It's a lot of that.
Right.
If you remember the market scene from Force Awakens, it looks a lot like that.
Oh yeah. Can I make a perception check to see if there's anything interesting around me?
Yeah.
All right. And what's the difficulty on that?
The difficulty on that is going to be a 2, average.
2 successes.
Great. You see that there are a few, everything in here has that patchwork aesthetic. Everything in here is made with junk and bunk and whatever was scattered around.
Right.
There's a few maintenance droids, picking up parts, picking up boxes, and, moving them around. On a tiny stool in sort of the center of in the center of this, workshop area, you see a short, fat Duros is like fiddling with some like a data has disassembled a data pad and is trying to like fiddle with it, trying to he's trying to like fiddle with it, almost trying to hack something or other.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just working. There's a few battle droids standing at attention. They've got their eye on you. And there is a large mass. It goes halfway up the wall of this maze that has a tarp over it. Various machines are pumping out the battle droids, astromech droids, whatever. They're pumping out what they're pumping out.
Okay. I'm going to approach the Duros.
Okay. He looks up, and he initially sort of goes on guard. You see him reach for a holdout blaster at his side for half a second, and then he kind of, like, looks around and realizes that he's already got the battle droids. So he kind of rests a hand back on the datapad. Empire send you?
General Dodonna, actually.
Dodonna? Why? Just... I'll tell him it'll be ready soon. It's fine.
What will be ready soon?
What do you mean, what will be ready soon? We've been talking about this for weeks.
Dodonna told me that he hadn't heard from you in weeks. And that I was sent to come see what had happened to you.
Well, that's ridiculous. And he gets up and he sort of hobbles over, picks up another data pad, pulls up some old communiques that appear to be from General Dodonna, that say, we'll be by to pick this up. Our operatives will be by. We'll have X amount of people. We'll have, 5 people. We'll be here within such and such a time. And it's marked as, basically now. This says the time of pickup is within a few minutes.
Right. Can I use... Would it be an underworld check? Because,
Yes, that would absolutely be an underworld check.
So, I'm trying to figure out, because I know Dodonna didn't send these messages, and I know, the way Rebel encryptions work. So, would I be able to use, say, an underworld check to determine who sent this, judging just by the encryption?
Absolutely, absolutely. Give me a 2, and that deduction gets you a blue dice.
Alright.
Or 2 difficulty, rather.
Yes.
And a blue dice.
Here's the thing. I'm proficient. That is a success and an advantage.
Beautiful. Yeah, so you are looking over this and you know that you can... This all looks real legit.
Mm-hmm.
If you weren't certain of all of those things, you'd probably have been fooled.
Right.
You study all of this, and you think back to, what you know about the region and about regions that were sort of... What you know about planets and systems that were sort of under the jurisdiction of the Trade Federation.
That would be the Outer Rim, right?
Yeah. What you know about that is a lot of these places tended to they got moved in by crime syndicates, particularly Black Sun.
Mm-hmm.
Black Sun moved in on a lot of these old places because there was facilities for making things on the cheap already in place.
Okay.
And if Black Sun was looking at that, then they were probably able to forge whatever encrypted communication, whatever communication channel, they were probably able to fake it.
Right.
So you don't know for sure, but you've got a pretty good idea that a Black Sun aligned individual has made it seem like they are General Dodonna and has convinced this poor angry man to make something.
She hands the datapad back to him and says, I regret to inform you that you've been communicating with the Forger this whole time. Whatever you're making, whatever you're building, it's not for the Empire, or it's not for the Rebellion, and it's not for the fight against the Empire. And I have a strong feeling that a crime lord's about to show up and take all your hard work.
That's ridiculous. No one could fool me. The Rebellion needed the... Look, they have You saw what the Empire has. Like, of course the rebellion needs that. What, I don't... And at that moment, you hear more footsteps coming from the tunnel that you came down to get here.
I'm going to need you to get to cover, and I'm going to need you to tell me everything you know about what you're building here.
It is... Oh, by the Force, I messed up. I was so angry that I thought that this is what the rebellion wanted, and... Oh, they can't. They can't have this. It is... And... It starts to, like... It stands up. There's no other way to describe it. It stands up.
The thing behind him covered in tarp?
Yeah.
Great.
Legs emerge from the bottom of the tarp.
Incredible.
It stands to about now 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a droid. I make droids. I'm a droid specialist. It's a droid for combat. They can't have this. And he's just he starts shaking. He just starts visibly shaking and hyperventilating.
She walks over to him and puts a comforting hand on his shoulder and says, I understand you're upset. This maybe even would have fooled me. But I need you to know that right now, some people are going to come and try and kill you. So, please order your droids to get in formation.
And he stops for a second, and he looks around at the 3 or 4 battle droids, and he says, "Attend hut! And, we have been placed under the command of a Rebel Alliance Admiral." And he looks at you and just kind of gives you a quick nod, like,
Thumbs up.
Follow any orders that she gives. This is top priority. The Empire, quick nod to you, has come to collect this. Ready for action. Battle formations. And they sort of they line the walls, New Hope style.
Oh no, he's so cute. She looks at him and says, is there any way you can get this to these landing coordinates?
And he looks at the coordinates and he says, I don't think I can. It took me 2 weeks to find this spot, to, find a secure spot. I don't think I'm getting out of here, of these tunnels, easily.
And
but
she...
but these droids will listen to me if you can make your way with it. That sounded weird. If you can make your way out of these tunnels with this droid.
She nods and says, I'll do what I can. Let me get in contact with the general. And she goes over to a corner and hails him with her comm link.
Hope you have good news for me.
Well, it seems that our good friend has been building us a droid.
Great.
Little beknownst to us. The problem is, someone is very good at mimicking your encryptions, General, and I think the Black Sun is on its way to take it from us.
The Black Sun? Oh no. Okay. Great. The landing vessel should be there in a few minutes. Just get over there and make sure they don't get the droid, I guess, because I don't want whatever he made. It had to be good enough that I don't want them having it.
Oh, it's good.
Great. We will see you in a minute.
Roger, Roger. And she cuts the link.
Roger. There's another brief shot where he goes on the thing is, Roger, what?
Roger. So, is there any way that I can get this guy with me? Or is he just gonna have to stay here?
Make me a roll for that. Either however you want to approach that. Whether charm, coercion, melee, if you just want to blackjack him, I don't know, whatever your preferred approach is.
Alright, gonna try. I think I'm gonna try a deception roll.
Okay.
What's the difficulty on that? Or do I need to pitch it first?
No. We'll make the roll and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
That's gonna be against a 2 purple.
2 purple?
Yeah. I'll give you a blue because it's a very panicked situation.
I got 2 successes and an advantage.
Great. So what do you say to him?
Alright, normally I would take the droid and leave you behind. But you are critical to the success of the rebellion, and I need you to come with me.
He kind of puffs out his chest a little bit, sort of grabs the suspenders that he's wearing, and is like, critical, eh? Alright. And he looks around, and he says, he looks around, he looks at the droid, grabs the data pad that he's been hacking and activates it, and the droid, an arm comes out and reaches from it, and it's just a big Goliath-looking, like, kind of like an advanced battle droid, but like the biggest advanced battle droid you've ever seen.
Oh my god, like a giant Atlas mech, but Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yes! Yeah. That's what I was hoping it was.
And it's just towering.
Cool.
It's like 13 feet tall.
That's amazing.
And it's like, it's got the cannon on the arm, like it's ready to rock.
She makes a mental note to requisition one of these when all is said and done.
Good. Great. He activates that, and he's like, the 3 of us, we're moving through the tunnels. All other troopers, all other battle droids, guard this spot. This is where we make our stand. And like the astromech droid that was like moving around pulls out like a little adjudicator pistol from its slot, and all of the battle droids get in position as a Trandoshan in a finely tailored tunic, like a beautifully dressed Trandoshan, and 2 Gamorreans and a few other various thugs, all with like blaster rifles, start to stroll down. You see them come through the tunnels, and then you see like fire opening.
Amazing. Cool. So she barks out, droids, attack formation, and draws her pistol, or blaster, sorry.
Great.
And is ready to go ham.
Great. So let's roll vigilance, and just tell me the result.
A success and an advantage.
Okay, so they are going to go first. They got 2 successes and 4 advantages. They are ready to brawl.
Mm-hmm.
They came ready to play. So they start opening fire on the droids. I'm gonna roll. Okay. Yeah. So the firefight starts. It is wild. And the Black Sun goons get an early and immediate advantage over everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
These battle droids were not like expecting the sheer level of less so tactics and more just pure like shock and awe forward charge. Like two of the Black Sun people go down from battle droid fire, and the battle droids are all but wiped out.
Okay. So
they are like advancing. The Trandoshan points at the 3 of you, Lyson, and the battle droid. Like he points at the 3 of you, says like, "Get them, get that," and the 2 Gamorreans kind of rush you, and that is your turn. And now it is your turn.
Okay. So I'm actually going to switch weapons, however that needs to be. I'm going to drop the blaster and reach behind me, and grab a black rectangular tube, press a button, and activate my orange lightsaber.
Oh, cool as hell. Yeah, alright. So we'll call that the move, your move action, so you have like a thing.
So
your maneuver, so you have a move.
If they're rushing me, I'm going to start slashing.
Alright.
What's the difficulty on that?
I believe it is... Let me double check what the difficulty for a melee attack is. I think it's just 1.
Okay.
But I'll double check it.
I don't need to argue any blues for that. I'm just gonna roll. I got 2 successes.
Great, perfect. So how much damage is that from the lightsaber? Lightsaber. Basic lightsaber damage 6.
Cool. Sounds good. And I got 2 successes, so that'd be 12 or 60 each, whatever is your preference.
Oh yeah, they're minions, so I was gonna say that triggers a... oh no, yeah. No, successes. Cut all of that. Great, you take them down. Describe how you take down these 2 Gamorrean guys running at you with big blaster carbines.
So I do a couple of twirls, and for the first one, who gets there first, I kind of, with one slash, I sear off the end of his carbine so the gun doesn't work, and then I bring that back down and just like grab him, get him straight through the abdomen. Mm-hmm. And then I turn, flip my lightsaber, and just get the other one, like, right through the heart.
Okay. What is your... I should ask this. What is your morality?
Probably light side presently.
Right. Yeah. So I'm going to call that some conflict. Mm-hmm. But this is low conflict because it was self-defense, so I'll say 2, 1 for each.
Okay.
2 points of conflict. Yeah, so... Though you drop them both in an instant. They just go down. The Trandoshan is still pointing at you like, get the... And now he's just like, everybody get them! And they just start like knocking... Now they're like knocking over the battle droids and just like rushing you. Mm-hmm. About like 4 more assorted, an Aqualish, we'll say a Deveronian... 2 humans. Very, whatever we had in the costume closet for this scene.
Whatever wasn't being used in the cantina presently.
Right. And they point at you and he's like, just everybody, just get them. And they all run at you. And so they're going to make a melee attack. They get 2 successes, okay. Yeah, so take 4 damage.
Okay. Plus soak, or minus soak?
Yeah, minus soak, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Because they're just, like, coming up on you, like, now they're just, like, trying to truncheon you to, like, get past you to activate this battle droid.
Right, okay. So I take 3 damage.
Cool. And I think I'm gonna flip a dark side.
Okay.
And say that the battle, or the super battle droid, like, sees the fight and you hear, like, motors start to rev up. Mm-hmm. You hear it start to power up, and you just hear a booming...
Self-defense mode activated. Protect the doctor. All other targets deemed hostile enemy targets.
Oh my God. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Can I force influence a droid?
I don't... I'm willing to say yes.
Okay. Because that's her specialty.
But I'm going to add a black to it, so yes. But I'm going to add a black because it's a droid.
Okay. That's fair. Okay. I don't even know what skill I roll for that. Hang on. Would it be deception?
I think so.
Okay. And I'd roll a force die with that as well.
Yes.
What's the difficulty? I know 1 black.
The difficulty is going to be 1 black and, 1 purple.
I got 5 successes, a threat, and 1 dark side point.
Alright. So, so you reach in to the mind of this droid, basically, and it feels foreign to you, even as somebody that's very good at this, as it is not an intellect that you're used to influencing.
Yes.
So you reach in, and you kind of have to, just bash it a little bit.
Right.
In order to get it to, change its mind about who it's going to attack. Mm-hmm. But you see its eyes go dark for a second, it shorts out for a second, and comes back on Defend the Doctor and Admiral Razia. All other targets deemed enemy combatants.
Sounds good. So she's going to roll out the way. Let me do an athletics check for that.
Yeah.
And what difficulty would you say that is?
We'll call that, because I'm just gonna roll its attack and just unload on everybody that's out here.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 3 and 2. That's going to be very difficult. That is going to be 2 red and a purple.
Oh wow! Just to roll to the side.
No, 3 purple.
Okay.
3 purple to roll to the side. Because then it's going to roll that on everyone else.
Yes. Because I'm not a target anymore. One success.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Great. You roll out of the way just as it unloads on these opponents. It wrecks a lot of them. They all the ones that don't go down flee.
Amazing.
The only person that's left standing there is the Trandoshan, the arms dealer, and he sort of like puts up his hands and says like, okay, you've got me beat, but I'm a businessman. What's it gonna take for me to leave with that droid?
Razia just points her lightsaber at him and says,
I think he points the lightsaber and then it just pans. We just get like a rainbow wipe to the landing site.
I think she wants to say something funny like, I admire your dedication. I admire your professional dedication. That's what she says.
Yeah. So you say that and then like it just swipes and you have the droid with you at the landing site.
Sounds good.
The lander starts to come down. And the lander starts to come down. You see it. You've got Lyson next to you. The droid has been it's turned off combat mode. And at the last second, as it's starting to land, you hear a twig snap behind you. And you turn back and you see Runner, the Jedi Hunter, standing behind you.
Oh no!
Gun in his hand and lowered at the ready.
Yeah.
And he's got bandages all along his side. You could have killed me back there.
I could have.
Why didn't you?
Because you're a victim of the Empire too.
You know, I never questioned my job. Because if I stopped to question it, then I would have to answer for everything that I've done. Today I question what I've done. And he puts his blaster on the ground, and he manacles his hands. And the lander drops. Lander lands. You fly back up. We cut back to that first, that crowded, transport command center. Describe to me the shot as you make your entrance now after all of this.
She's probably leading a manacled runner by the back.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of walking him through the base. And she's a lot less, intimidating, I think. She's people are still scared of her, but if you know her, you can see the relaxation. She really feels like she did a good job today. And she considers it a success. But every time she looks at Runner, that disappears, and you just see the guilt of a reminder of every bad thing that she did with the Empire as well. She very much empathizes with him. And so as she's walking through the base and waving to some people who may or may not wave back, depending on how scared of her they are.
I think one person really excitedly waves back. Yeah. I think there's at least one.
And everyone else is like, oh no, what did I do?
Yeah.
But she looks at Runner and says, perhaps we can help you answer those questions together.
And I think we see Dodonna. He steps out and he looks Runner in the eyes and he says, who is this? Clone Soldier DX1997, at your service, do as you will. And Dodonna offers a handshake. And he looks back and Runner looks back at you. And he smiles a little bit, and he takes the handshake. And I think the handshake is immediately broken up by Lyson, who's like, I'm here. I've been told I'm very important.
Someone told me I was critical to the success of the rebellion, General Dodonna.
And Dodonna just puts his hand in his hand like, oh. And then the opening credits, or the closing credits start, and that's game. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I like that a lot.
That was good. That was really good.
Man, thank you so much for coming on Party of One. This was a blast.
I had so much fun. Thank you so much, Jeff.
I'm so glad. So real quick, where can people get a hold of you online?
You can tweet me at Maddie K. Ray, MADDIEKAYRAY. Or if you're interested in me helping you with your podcast or any future podcasts you may have, you can email me at mrayaudio@gmail.com.
Perfect. Fantastic. Well, I'm going to throw it over to me in the distant future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me.
Thanks, Past Me, and thanks again to Maddie for coming onto the show. That was super fun. I really loved it. If you're working on a podcast, whether you've just started one or you have one that's long established, you should definitely reach out to Maddie for editing assistance. Editing a podcast is hard. It's probably the hardest part of the job for me, and I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. So if that's something you struggle with or you're intimidated by, you should absolutely email Maddie at mrayaudio@gmail.com. It is worth your time. You should also follow Maddie on Twitter at Maddie K. Ray. You should also follow Party of One on Twitter at Party of One Pod, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. If you really enjoy the show, consider giving us a nice iTunes review, social media shout-out, or word-of-mouth recommendation, or consider backing us on Patreon. Patreon backers get access to bonus material from the show, designer's notes for games that we've hacked into a 2-player format, and more. And that can be found at patreon.com/partyofonepodcast. If you want to hear more from me, check out All My Fantasy Children, a podcast where Aaron Catano and I take your listener prompts and turn them into beautiful, thriving, vibrant role-playing game characters. Party of One is produced by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran, featuring the D&D Sluggers. If you'd like to inquire about coming on to the show or about advertising rates, shoot me an email at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And that's it for me. Until next time, thank you for listening. Fight the forces of fascism every single day. Party on.
Never gonna die.